Hello there, everybody. This is General Snivy, and welcome to my new Let's Play, which is the continuation of the Super Mario Bros. NES game lineup. Last time we completed Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, which was an absolute train wreck. So today, we're going to be starting a new game and a new playthrough of the next Mario game in the series, which is Super Mario Bros. 3, arguably the best Super Mario Bros. Game on the NES. So, yeah, we're playing the NES version of the game because this is the one that's available through the Nintendo Switch Online NES game lineup service thing. So, that is pretty sweet. So, this game was re-released later on, and it was included as one of the games in the Super Mario Bros. All-Stars. And just like with all the rest of the NES Mario games, that one got a pretty massive overhaul in the graphical department. And I'm not too sure about the gameplay department. I think it didn't really receive too many changes. Might have been a few bug fixes, but that's really about it. And I honestly have not owned this version of Super Mario Bros. 3 for the longest time. Hell, the one I've owned for many years was from Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, on the original Game Boy Advance, back in the day. Nowadays, I think I've lost that cartridge, so it's not really a big deal, due to the fact that I can still play the NES version here, and I can also purchase the game off of the Wii U Virtual Console if I so desire. So, this game, definitely one of my favorites in the NES Super Mario Bros. Trilogy, and this is probably my personal favorite, personally. And I know I said personally in the same sentence twice, but regardless, I figure I throw it out there. I've actually played this game several times on the original NES, at least a couple of years ago, though not in its entirety, of course. I think one of my aunts who lived in Maryland, or who was still living down there, they have an original NES, and also Super Mario Bros. 3, so that was how I was able to play this game for quite a while. Until I got my hands on Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3 for the Game Boy Advance, and then I played it on that. Okay, with those introductions out of the way, let's go ahead and start the adventure. Let's do this. So just like before, there are, I believe, 8 worlds in all. So, yeah, this should take no more than 2 play sessions. Oh man, the memories are already starting to flood back, and I freaking love it. I've always loved Super Mario Bros. 3. It can be hard as hell, don't get me wrong, but that doesn't come into play until, like, one of the last few worlds of the game. Trust me. Oh, come on, that's just bull crap. Okay. So with Super Mario Bros. 3, this game added several new power-ups. One of them is right here with the Super Leaf. Oh, come on, really? The Super Leaf allows Mario to grow raccoon ears and a raccoon tail. If Mario gets hit, then he loses that power-up and he just goes back to Large Mario, aka Big Mario, Super Mario, whatever. But apparently in the Japanese version of the game, the Japanese version is also slightly harder due to the fact that in the Japanese version, it acts like the old school Mario games from like Mario 1 and 2, where instead of maintaining the big Mario state, you would then be reverted back to small Mario. Oh, come on, hit it! Thank you, Jesus. Okay, so another new feature that was added besides the new power-ups, which other power-ups that I can recall that are brand new off the top of my head, besides this Super Leaf power-up. There's also the P-Wing, which allows you to maintain this transformation, but also have a full P-Gauge. And with the P-Gauge, if you happen to have the Super Leaf active, then if you run a certain amount of distance, you'll be able to fly for a short period of time. But with the P-Wing, you'll be able to fly through the entire level and just be able to fly forever until you get hit, that is. However, P-Wings are incredibly rare, so treasure them and only pull them out if you absolutely need them. Or if you want to just simply say, screw those hard levels and shove them up their freaking ass. There are going to be several instances where I'm going to be doing that. But even so. Oh, come on, really? Also, there's a reason why I'm doing this. If you kneel on that white block in level 3 in particular, one toot of this whistle will send you to a faraway land. And with that, if you stand on that white block in level 3, crouch down for about 5 seconds, you'll drop behind the background, and if you manage to run all the way to the end of the stage, then you'll get a special item known as a warp whistle. How warp whistles work is you play it on the overworld map, and you'll be transported over to the warp zone, and you'll be able to traverse to the next world or whatever number of worlds you desire. Heck, we can get 2 warp whistles minimum and just warp all the way to the end of the game. But I'm not like that. As cool as that is, I'm going to try to show off every single level in the entire game. That means going through all worlds, defeating all of the bosses, showing everything that the game has to offer, at least as much as humanly possible. Another really cool new addition in Mario 3 is the ability to store power-ups that you may find in Toad Houses. Toad Houses are located throughout different parts of the world map. If you enter one, you'll be given an opportunity to open one of 3 chests. The chests will contain a random item. It could be anything from a simple mushroom to a super leaf. Basically any regular normal power-up. However, there are other parts of the world map in future worlds where you can find special Toad Houses that can give you exclusive items. And those exclusive items are more rare and harder to come by. However, dang it. One of those items that you simply cannot get are, of course, going to be the P-Wing and I believe the Hammer Brothers suit. That is another new power-up which will be showing up later on in the game. I don't know when we'll be able to grab one or if we'll grab one, but it'll be nice to show that off nonetheless. But anyway, the Hammer Brothers suit, it acts a lot like the Fire Flower in this game. Unlike the Fire Flower, the Hammer suit allows you to quote-unquote deal more damage to enemies, and you're able to kill more enemy types with the Hammer Brothers suit as opposed to the Fire Flower. There's also a pretty annoying quirk when it comes to Super Mario Bros. 3 and finding power-ups such as mushrooms. One piece of advice that's worth keeping in mind, other than falling to my doom like a freaking idiot, is if you activate a mushroom, whatever direction Mario is facing, that mushroom will go in the opposite direction. So if you're facing left when the mushroom appears, it'll go right, and if you're facing right, it'll go left. So keep this in mind as you're trying to go and grab mushrooms to keep yourself alive. Just saying. Definitely something worth keeping in mind. One other thing you could do to help alleviate this problem a bit is... Dang it. Oh yeah, one thing you can do to help alleviate or work around the problem is to simply try to grab the mushroom as it appears. That way you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to be able to grab the mushroom whatsoever. So, yeah, that is something else that should be kept in mind as you're going through the game. I believe 1-up mushrooms can have the same sort of As I was trying to say, 1-up mushrooms also exhibit the same behavior as the regular mushrooms, so be sure to keep that in mind as you're going about the game. Well. Okay. How about we don't die, please? That would be great. I'm definitely not a fan of these auto-scroller levels. They really suck. Especially if you die in the middle of an auto-scroller, too. It can take quite a bit of time just to get back to where you previously were. Anywho, there I earned an extra life. How does that work exactly? Well, for every 3 levels you complete, you can get a 1-up by getting 3 separate icons. However, if you get 3 of a kind of either a mushroom, fire flower, or starman, you'll get additional lives. 3 mushrooms, I believe, will grant you 2 lives. And a fire flower will grant you 3, and finally a starman will grant you 5 extra lives. Now let's play this minigame. Line up the pictures and get a prize. You only get 1 try. God damn it. Okay, so here's how this minigame works. You have to line up the picture and line up all 3 pieces. If you line up all 3 pieces, you'll get a certain number of lives based on the image. A mushroom, I believe, will grant you 2 extra lives. Fire flower will grant you 3, and the starman will grant you 5. However, I believe later, if you manage to win multiple games of this in a row, you'll be granted a new sort of minigame where it adds in a super leaf, and if you win that, then you get 7 additional lives if you match up with the super leaf. However, I'm not too sure if that's exclusive to Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, or if that's also available in the SNES version or even in this version of the game as well. I have no idea. Regardless, let's head into this next level here. And I'm busting this out. I don't care. There's a reason why I'm doing this. Trust me. Okay, that was a dumb idea. I shouldn't have grabbed that fire flower. Ah, dang it. What sucks is that the super leaf is considered the better item here. Okay, I can still do this. Okay, if you run all the way to the right here and push up in this section, you'll get access to another warp whistle, and you'll also avoid the boss of this level altogether. Although this door is still held in place for some reason. Okay. Usually when a castle crumbles, this door gets destroyed. However, since I grabbed the warp whistle in the level instead, this door still remains. And another pretty cool feature is if you manage to go through the entire castle and defeat the boss of it, which in most cases is Boom Boom, these doors, or at least one of them, will disappear and allow you to get back to where you were previously without having to go through the entire world all over again if you happen to get a game over. And if you do end up getting a game over in this game, you just go back to the start of the world that you're in. So you don't have to redo the entire game unless you select End. Which, why would you select end unless you want to take a break? But regardless, let's proceed. Onward to level 5. Or 1-5. Oh, damn it! That's what I get for trying to go fast. Okay. Honestly, these first world levels are really not hard at all. You can go through them really damn fast. And speedrunners really know how to utilize these tricks and also different paths that they can take. There are so many ways to optimize a playthrough of this game that it's not even funny. Also, say hello to this butthole here. He is the Hammer Brother. Usually you'll find a Hammer Brother or two roaming around each of the world maps. If you encounter one, then you will have to take it down. And whenever you complete a level or you complete a Toad House or something to that extent, then the Hammer Brother or Hammer Brothers will move on the world map accordingly. And they usually move between 1 to 2 spaces every time you exit a level or exit a Toad House or whatever, I think. Then again, maybe it's just levels that they do that. Regardless, if you manage to defeat one or multiple Hammer Brothers, then you will get an item of which they're guarding. Usually it's something like a Starman or some other item like a Super Leaf or even a more rare item. Be sure to keep those in mind and try to take down as many Hammer Brothers or something. Take down as many Hammer Brothers as you can. That's the lesson here. I seriously cannot maintain my frickin' Super Leaf to save my hide. I try to go too fast, I get smacked. I go too slow, I get smacked. I just love running into enemies, apparently. That's all part of the game. Thankfully, Super Leaves are very easy to get your hands on. And they're pretty dang common, too. Oh, what's this? Hello. Flip over any 2 cards and see if they match. You can only miss twice. I think there was originally a grammar mistake within that text box in the original NES release of Super Mario Bros. 3. However, they changed it for future revisions and future re-releases. So, that is something worth mentioning. I think the grammar mistake was you missed twice and you're out or something. Okay, that sucked. Okay. So that is basically a memory matching game. Whenever you encounter one of those on the world map, the board is the same, so you can essentially memorize where all the cards are. But it's basically trial and error until you get something and get a match or more. If you get all matching items, then you get to keep all the stuff that is contained within those cards. And for every match you get, well, dang it. You get that particular item, whether it be coins or Fire Flower or even Starman, doesn't matter. And I think you have to complete like about 5 or 6 levels in any given world without getting a game over before one of those things appear within a random space on the world map. And after completing a certain number of levels, we get access to the castle. So let's hop on in and see what's up. Oh, it's terrible! The king has been transformed! Please, find the magic wand so we can change him back! Of course. The king apparently is transformed into a dog in this world. I find him adorable. I want him to stay that way. But as much as I want him to stay that way, that's just not going to happen. So now we're on the airship. Welcome to the airship levels. These levels are auto-scrollers. And each one of these airships is different from one another. Also, screw you, game. Okay, so how this works is you basically have to go through an entire gauntlet of the airship, and if you manage to survive, you get the honor of fighting one of the 7 Koopalings. I don't know very many of them. God damn it. But if you happen to fail on the airship level, then the airship flies to a random part of the map. And you have to go back to that particular part of the map in order to get another shot at the airship. And if you get a game over, then unfortunately you will have to redo the entire world again and get back to that point in order to get another shot. So try not to get a game over on these. Although that is definitely going to be a lot easier said than done, especially given my given the fact that I suck at these, and maintaining my power-ups is also another task within itself. God damn it, come on! Alright. Is there something over here? No, of course not. Alright, let's go. First Koopaling, I believe, is Ludwig? Okay, no, that's, someone else. It's either Lemming or, some other Koopaling. Regardless, he's easy. Jump on him 3 times and you win. Basically describes many, Mario bosses in a nutshell. Jump on them 3 times and you win. Oh, thank heavens! I'm back to my old self again. Thank you so much. Here is a letter from the princess. Okay, let's see what this letter is. Greetings. If you see any ghosts, be careful. They will give chase if you turn away. I have enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. And for every world you complete most of the time, Peach will send you a P-Wing. Keep these in your inventory for as long as possible. Alright, welcome to World 2, which I believe is known as Desert Land, or is in the Japanese version it's known as Desert Hills. For whatever reason, with the international versions over here in the West, all the different worlds are named after lands, like Grassland, Desert Land, etc., etc. More like industrial land. Okay, let's go. Onward to 2-1. And of course, we have some new enemies. Some of the enemies here are going to be disguising themselves as blocks. Thankfully, you can just jump on them and be on your merry way. And they're also clearly designated. Oh, come on! I thought I had more iframes than that. Dang it, game. Okay, let's try this again. One really cool new quality of life improvement that this game has employed is you no longer have to time your A presses just right to jump higher off of enemies. You just simply have to hold the A button as you're jumping on top of them, and you'll be perfectly fine. You'll still be able to maintain your highest jump height, no problem. God damn it. I was really hoping to have been able to get a 3-star man, but oh well, what can you do? Alright, let's play a game. God damn it. Nice image. At least it's not as big of a nightmare fuel as the Sonic the Hedgehog movie design, am I right? Speaking of which, has anyone here seen the new trailer for the movie? I have. And it's like, yeah, all of our worst fears have come true. We knew it was going to suck right from the very start. Just frickin' knew it. It wasn't like it was really going to be the chosen one anyway. So what did it matter? I'll tell you how it didn't matter. It just plain didn't. Regardless, though, that is what's going on. Alright, next castle. By the way, I'm not too sure how many warp whistles there are in the entire game. But regardless, 2 is the minimum that you really need to get to the very end of the game, I'm sure. Then again, maybe it's 3. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3. There is one other thing that I would like to note too, and that is the soundtrack when it comes to this game in particular. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Okay. Apparently I didn't die. How? I don't care. I'll gladly take it. Hello there, Boom Boom. Funny enough, Boom Boom first made his appearance here in Super Mario Bros. 3. And he hasn't appeared in very many Mario games since. The most recent appearance I can think of is Super Mario 3D Land. And thankfully they did bring him back and gave him a different spotlight in the future Mario games. Though it's still not very many though. And that is something worth mentioning. Okay. Also, within this world, you'll start finding these warp pipe rooms. Go inside and they'll take you to a different part of the world. And you'll also find these rocks hanging around and about. These rocks, you are required to get a certain item in order to smash them. In this case, you need a hammer. However, once you use the hammer, then that hammer disappears. It's not the same as the Hammer Brothers suit. This is just a plain old average everyday hammer. Or it could be a mallet. One of those things. Regardless, it's something. I knew that was going to happen. All because the damn Starman had to start appearing in the opposite frickin' direction. Oh crap, I hit the wrong button. I hit B instead of A. What was I thinking? Pushing B to jump. Who would think to do that? Unless you're playing Mario Clash on the Virtual Boy. Oh, jeez. I guess that was just one of those panicky moments. Or I just plain suck at the game. Regardless, I haven't played this game in years, especially the NES version. Just saying, though. Damn it. Okay. Now, I haven't really addressed this yet, but when it comes to save state usage, I'm going to try to avoid using save states throughout this playthrough, though there is going to be some times where I will be using them. I might end up having to use them very shortly. Oh, come on! Why did it take away my A press? Clearly, I hit the damn button, but of course not. This game just absolutely loves me. One thing that is worth noting, though, is if you do end up getting a game over and you do end up getting a power-up from, like, a Toad House, which looks like that's going to be happening now. Oh, okay. Right, it's NES. It's NES, so 0 lives is a life in this game. Any extra lives is helpful. Okay, back to what I was saying. If you happen to get a game over in this game, and you happen to grab any power-ups from, like, Toad Houses and whatnot, then you'll be able to carry those power-ups with you if you end up dying and getting a frickin' game over. I did not mean to do that. I just held the frickin' B button like an idiot, trying to start running before I entered the level in the first place. That just goes to show that I'm an idiot. No. What the hell was that? clearly I landed on top of that frickin' block, and yet I died anyway. That is some Class A bullshit right there. Unbelievable. Unfrickin' believable. Alright, let's try this again. Again, same exact frickin' thing. Hello, Chef Wario DK. Welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. As you can see, I'm clearly failing miserably in Super Mario Bros. 3. All because of bad hit detection. And also bad movement. What did you miss? Only the first world, so not a big deal. Just the first world and introductions and a couple of basic things that I went over, such as misusing the warp whistle by mistake. And also I showed off where you can find 2 warp whistles within the first world as well. First one is in World 1-3, and the second one is in First Castle. Yep, this is Super Mario Bros. 3. Still have not gotten my hands on Super Mario Bros. All-Stars to show off Worlds A through D and Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. After what I've been through with that game, I really am not looking to return to that anytime soon. I honestly am not. That'll work. Whew, okay. By the way, you do need to do that in order to make your way down here. And you also have to wait for the Koopa Shell to complete its pass. Unless there's a way to just glitch your way through the wall or something. Regardless, it is something you need to keep in mind. Your favorite retro Mario game, huh? Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites too. Okay. No, god damn it. Oh, sweet. Mushroom match. I think this is Fire Flower? Yep, good. Damn it. Oh well. I think with that we gained additional mushrooms too, so that's pretty nice. Alright, time for this lovely level here. This level introduces everyone's favorite enemy in the Mario series, the Angry Sun. It's kind of just chilling up in the sky right now, but after we get past this tornado here, the Angry Sun is definitely going to be showing his anger. Oh, come on, really? I barely hit the son of a bitch. Okay. Where was Mushroom again? Damn it. I know Flower was here. That was 10 coins. Oh, sweet. That'll work. Okay. There we go. That's another mushroom added to our inventory. Here's star. Another star, huh? Damn. Well, that stunk. Oh well. I'm just gonna go ahead and create a save point here. And let's head in. Head back into this frickin' lovely level. Thankfully, we should be able to get another extra life relatively shortly. That is if we manage to survive long enough. Wow, Mario flew. That was pretty awesome. This is probably one of those levels where it may not be a bad idea to just simply, oh crap. Excellent, got it! That's what I wanted to do. Phew! 5 more lives, just what I frickin' needed. Alright, let's do this. And say hello to the new brother variety, the Boomerang Brother. And after defeating him, we get a hammer. This hammer allows us to break rocks. And trust me, there is a rock that I'm going to be breaking, but it's not the one that you're thinking. Instead, it's going to be somewhere a bit odd. You would think it would be part of the background, but in actuality, it's something completely different. Okay, let's head into level 4. Now, this level in particular doesn't seem to be that bad, although it feels as though it's more designed to be taken on with the Super Leaf, if anything. Speaking of which, here it is. So, Boomerang Brothers, and really Hammer Brothers in general, are a lot less annoying to deal with in this game compared to other Mario Brothers games, or even other Mario games in general. They definitely become a lot more fair in Mario 3 going forward, and I definitely like that. Stupid frickin' Boomerang Brother. Yes, I am doing a warpless run. That is my goal, and that was what I intended to do in the first place. Alright, on to level 5 of this world after I get chomped in the frickin' ass twice. Fantastic. Okay, let's just fight you and see what item we get this time. If I don't end up giving him a kiss first. God. Why am I misjudging my frickin' jumps like a frickin' idiot? Like that! Damn this game! It just feels like I'm slipping and sliding and overshooting my goddamn jumps, and why am I doing this? Okay, come on, come on. Can't be throwing away my lives like that! Ugh! What the hell is wrong with me? Come on! We can do this! There! Was that so goddamn hard? God, all those extra lives, gone! Just because of that one asshole. Okay. Well, now's a good time as any to use this. Smashing that rock in particular will grant you access to a hidden path. So, let's head into this toad house and see what we can find inside. Another toad house, and in here we should find a frog suit. The frog suit is a new power-up in Mario 3, and it's not very useful on land, but it makes swimming levels a lot easier. Oh, crap. Of course. Great, now I gotta create save states every time now. So that way I don't end up having to redo an entire world again like that. And here I am trying to push B before entering the level. Okay. As I was trying to say before I ended up getting killed multiple times over, we have a new Hammer Brother variety, the Fire Brothers. Defeating them on this hidden path grants you access to the third Warp Whistle. The third Warp Whistle is useful for getting access to the end of the game. Let me go ahead and show you what I mean. I created the save state so that way when I use these Warp Whistles here, I can show you how you can exit and finish the game. Okay. And as you can see here, we can just warp all the way to the very end of the game just by using 2 warp whistles alone. So, that is pretty nice. If you want to get to the very end very quickly, you can do just that. But I'm not going to. Not unless I quit the entire game. Oh, Jesus, flip! Frickin' chomp! I've been wanting to grab another frickin' mushroom or something. Speaking of which, I probably should have used one of mine that I had in my possession, but nope. I was an idiot. Not thinking, just charging right back in. Okay. Okay. Don't worry, this is all part of the plan. Another very cool and very awesome feature is the fact that in Mario 3, you can actually go in... You can actually turn left. I don't know what I activated. Regardless. It probably wouldn't have been very useful anyway. Maybe a mushroom or something, who knows. Okay, let's play another game. Maybe we can get an extra life here. Anything will do. Damn it, I knew it was too soon. Or more or less it was too late, rather. Ah, dang it. Alright, onward to the next level here, and the last one of this world, the pyramid. The pyramid level here is built like a maze. Kind of. It's a maze. Mostly. Okay, see what I mean about power-ups going in the opposite direction of where you're going? Or where you're facing? Okay. So in this level, what you need to do is utilize these buzzy beetles here. You can't kill them with fire flowers, but if you happen to have the Hammer Brothers suit, then you'll be able to use them instead. Oh, pfft, damn it! I didn't realize that would happen. Oh well. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? God damn it. Why does it seem so freaking difficult to pick up freaking shells in this game? It's like if you're not on the side of the shell, then you can't pick it up. If you jump on top of it, which is a very likely thing you'll end up doing, trying to pick up the shell, you'll end up kicking it instead. Also, screw you, game. Okay, what? Oh, the coin ship and anchor items. Well, how that works exactly is a bit complicated. The coin ship, you access that by completing a certain number of levels with a certain number of coins and a certain number of points. And I think completing it within a certain amount of time, too, within that level. Not 100% sure what the requirements are. I can never get one to show up, and getting one to show up on command is kind of difficult. And the anchor item, what that does is, if you happen to fail on an airship level, you can use the anchor item to force the airship to stay in place for a certain amount of time. The amount of time is a certain number of lives. I'm not too sure what the specific amount of lives is, but regardless, I believe it's about 5 lives the anchor will be in effect for, And after that time passes, then the ship will unfortunately move again. Okay, so something else you can do with the raccoon tail, if you happen to have the super leaf active, is you can break these blocks with just the simple swing of your tail. Okay, really? It seems like to me that swinging your tail is incredibly risky. It's like, are you going to get hit while trying to whack your enemy, or are they going to hit you? It almost seems random. And it's kind of ridiculous. Oh man, that was painful, but I'm definitely glad that we managed to get an extra life out of that. Okay, let's play some more flipping card games. Let's see, what do we got over here? Mushroom. 1-up. Okay. Dang it. Whatever, at least that board is almost finished. And thankfully we do have some extra lives on our hands. 2 more to be exact, but best to be safe than sorry. Ooh, the king this time is a spider. And I believe these messages are the same every time you enter a new world and get to the castle. Alright, time to head on off to the World 2 airship. This airship is definitely going to be fun. Especially when trying to do this as Small Mario. For every airship you explore, the airship levels will become more and more difficult. They'll introduce more and more annoying obstacles, and also more bullet bills. More bullet bill blasters, cannonball blasters, etc., etc. There is another power-up that I have not yet explained or talked about. We did end up grabbing that power-up not that long ago from another Hammer Brother. Or, not a Hammer Brother, but rather a Boomerang Brother. Regardless, that power-up is known as the Music Box. What that does is, much like the Anchor, it puts the Hammer Brothers, Boomerang Brothers, Fire Brothers to sleep for a certain amount of time. The amount of time that they stay asleep for, I believe, is like 3 lives, or 3 level completions. After 3 levels or 3 lives are lost, then the Hammer Brothers, Boomerang Brothers, Fire Brothers, they wake up and start moving around again. It can be useful for if you're trying to take on and fight multiple Hammer Brothers and Fire Brothers at the same time. And yeah, unfortunately we will have to sit through this again because I just suck at the game so much. Oh, Jesus flip. Kill me. Again, I could always use a P-Wing to fly over this whole level and say screw it all. Although, that's probably not a good idea. Especially trying to use it so soon. You only want to use the P-Wings for the most annoying levels in the entire game. I knew that was going to happen too. Should have faced left so that way it could have went right. Why didn't I think of that? Okay. I think I was trying to talk about this... Oh crap. Earlier, but when it comes to this game's soundtrack, there is a bit of a remix between the SNES and NES soundtrack of Mario 3. Oh, come on! Are you serious right now? so close! Okay. I thought about maybe creating a save state there, but now it's like, nah. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Of course, I will have to sit through the King's dialogue again if I end up getting another game over, which is rather annoying. Okay, it's not really the King's dialogue. It's more like the Toad Servant dialogue. Speaking of... Okay, that was bullshit. How? How the hell did that happen? Granted, I know that the bullet bill was just firing, but come on, it should have, I should have just jumped on top of it. Why did I just die instantly? The game and its hit detection. I guess this is why the SNES version of the game, or Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3 is the superior version of the game to play. Because of the improved hit detection. Okay, there we go. Finally, it went in the direction I wanted it to go. Okay, so as I was trying to say before, the soundtrack when it comes to the NES Super Mario Bros. 3 and the SNES versions are slightly different from one another. While the NES uses more or less its own sound chip and everything, the SNES version is of higher quality. Oh crap. Okay, that works. Phew! Damn, that was pretty hairy. Way too frickin' close. There we go. World complete. Thank heavens I'm back to my old self again. Thank you so much. Here's a letter from the princess. Funny enough, I think if you show up in certain suits, then the king will actually have a different reaction. So, let's see what this letter says. Greetings. You can stomp on your enemies using Goomba's shoe. I've enclosed a jewel that helps protect you, which is a cloud item. Funny enough, in the original SNES, or no, in the original NES release of this game, the name Goombas was mistakenly given the Japanese name of the Goomba known as the Karibo. So, Peach would say, you can stomp your enemies using Karibo's shoe. And players over here in the West would not even realize what that really means. However, this mistake was corrected in future revisions and re-releases of the game. And I believe it was also corrected in the SNES version of the game too. So, the cloud item, what does this do? Well, with this item you can use it to skip levels, if you so desire. So, not exactly the most useful thing in the world, but it's still an item you can use nonetheless. So if you're really annoyed with a certain level, you can just simply say screw you and not bother doing it and just move on with your day. However, you have to complete the next level, otherwise you'll be sent back to the previous starting point. So that is something you do have to keep in mind. Alright, time to start World 3. And this is the first level that introduces swimming to the game. It works the same exact way as it did in the other Super Mario Bros. Games. You just mash the A button to ascend through the water and just push the A button to jump right out if you manage to get to the very top of the water surface. It's as simple as that. What's also very interesting is if you use the frog suit in these water levels here, you'll be able to swim through the water without having the need of pushing the A button repeatedly. You can just swim around using the D-pad or analog stick, whatever you're using, you can use it. Just saying, it's another way of getting around. Okay. I knew that was going to happen too. I'm screwed. I'm going to frickin' drown and die. Okay, never mind. So this level has introduced us to yet another reoccurring enemy in the Mario series, the Cheep Cheeps. Okay, seriously, why can't I hit these damn blocks and grab the mushrooms? That is so freaking annoying. I really hate how mushrooms go in the opposite direction of where you want to go. It's like you gotta manipulate the freaking logic of the mushrooms in order to get them to go where you want them to go. Okay. Another one down. Another level done. On to the next one. After this visit to the frickin' Toad House. Let's see what we can find in here. Ooh, a frog suit. Again, not the most useful thing in the world, but it's still something. And something is always better than nothing. And I know that the frog suit can be useful for water levels that involve a ton of swimming. Also say hello to yet another very annoying enemy in this entire freaking game. I'm surprised I did not lose that power-up or die immediately after getting it. This enemy I'm talking about here, I'm not really sure what its name is, but I call it Big Bertha. It's a gigantic freaking Cheep Cheep that swims across the surface of the water and jumps out to try and eat you. And if you get eaten, it's a one-hit death, regardless of what power-up you have. You can kill it by means of throwing shells, firing a fire flower, throwing a hammer at it. Basically, any sort of projectile weapon will work perfectly fine. Okay, finally. More extra lives, just what I needed. Jesus. Especially now. Good lord. Okay. Alright, come on down. Be the next contestant on the frickin'... Damn it. Never mind. Screw you. You're not worthy of being a contestant on The Price is Right. Seriously. Go away. Big Bass. Or something like that. It wouldn't be surprising if that's what it's called. Okay. Let's head to the next castle. By the way, what are these things here? People call them nuclear waffles or radioactive waffles. Because that's exactly what they look like. No matter which version of the game that you play, it's basically the same. Alright, so in this castle, this one is kind of annoying. In this castle, it is built like a maze. Oh, damn it. So, the solution is go through the 6th door, and you'll reach the end, no problem. It's a bit of trial and error before you... Okay, what the hell was that? Disco Ball of Doom. Another pretty hilarious name when it comes to these things, too. That could be what it is. Who knows? Okay, that was the wrong door. Alright. At least they gave me an extra life, so I'll gladly take it. Also, in this world, now that we're fighting Boom Boom yet again, he magically gains the ability to fly after his first hit. But after the second hit, he goes back down on the ground. Most of the time, though, this is no problem, and you can just take him down the same old way as you would before. Okay, let's go at this again. I think this was Mushroom? Yes. There we go. This game is kind of complete. Of course, it will reappear again later on as we continue to make our way through this. Oh, come on. Seriously? Okay, there has to be some sort of trick when it comes to the picture matching thing. Okay. I think one other thing that's worth noting, too, is in this version of Super Mario Bros. 3, the NES version, there is a time limit that you have to keep in mind as you're going from one pipe to another. 300 seconds, that's way more than enough time to just go into one pipe, go back out another, etc., etc. But I think in the SNES version onward, the time limit is removed. For obvious reasons. There's really no reason to have a time limit there in the first place. Alright, on to the next level. Great. That's great. Okay, that was weird. It was like I was stuck momentarily. Not sure what that was all about. Okay. Anyway, another sort of mechanic that is in this level here is... Throughout the world map, you'll notice there are some bridges that go up and down. Okay, that's a pretty unusual glitch. Not really a glitch, more like something interesting nonetheless. Well, I'll say that's worth it. God damn it! Way to waste it. Okay, so as I was trying to say, within this world, you may have noticed some bridges. Whenever you complete a level or you lose a life, they go up, and if the same thing happens again, they go back down. They will alternate between going up and down as you're progressing through the level or progressing through the world. Ooh, hello. Okay, so P-switches, what they do is, depending on where you are, they may send a bunch of coins, or they may... Oh, okay, that works. Okay, so as I was trying to say... Depending on where you are, they may summon a bunch of blue coins that act like regular coins. They may also turn regular stone blocks into non-solid blocks, aka coins, regular coins. Or they may summon a hidden door, depending on where you are. Okay, this looks like a water level, so this may be a time where the frog suit may be handy. Let's give it a shot. Yep, as I thought. Oh, come on. Really? The freaking frog suit got overwritten by the fire flower? Wow, that's not fair. What a waste. So, as I was trying to demonstrate, the frog suit makes swimming through these levels a lot easier. You can be a lot more precise with your movements and everything. However... It does have it can still be overwritten by basically any other power-up in the entire game. Just noticed that comment now. Okay. Alright, what do we got in here? Thankfully, if the bridges are down and you enter the Toad House, it's not like the bridge will pop right back up and you get stuck. Then again, I think if you fail another level, there is the potential of getting soft-locked here. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, I think this is a spot where you want to use the hammer. That way you get access to this boat here, and you're able to use it to get to this dock, and several toad houses and 2 spade houses, too. Alright. sweet. By the way, for the amount of items that you can hold, I think you can hold up to 3 rows of items. I'm not 100% sure. But try to use as many items as often as you can. However, save the more valuable items for later. Damn it. I knew that was going to be a fail. Again. I can never win at this slot minigame. Damn it. I know what you have to do. You basically just have to line up the pictures right. Oh, hello. We have yet another hidden toad house. Let's see what we got in here. Another fire flower. Yay. Whatever. Let's see what else we can find on this marvelous land. Doesn't look like much. And unfortunately, you can't just hop out of the boat here or anywhere, really. Also, this random bridge is here for some reason. Not sure why it's here, but it's here nonetheless. By the way, that pipe is going to be our end goal. That is where we're going to enter the castle and eventually pursue the airship of the world. Okay. Well, that was a fun little boating adventure. Alright. What should I break out here? I think this will be fine. Let's go. Yeah, definitely. Okay, screw that fire flower. I don't need it. Unlike, say, the new Super Mario Brothers games, you can't, like, grab one power-up and store it for later. It's like, once that power-up is collected, then the other one is overwritten. And most of the time, whenever... Oh, come on! Are you serious? Again with that kissing bullshit? Great. Especially considering that this is an auto-scroller, this definitely doesn't help things at all. Okay. Sometimes it's fun to just dance to the music. Ah! Oh man, the panic was definitely real. You always go for the middle chest in toad houses. I can definitely understand why. Though I think all 3 chests have an equal chance of getting an item or not getting any sort of items in particular. Okay, next level. Here we go. In this level, we're introduced to a new enemy. I believe its official name is Spike. But it looks like Fishy Bookums. If anyone watches SMG4, you know what I'm talking about. Regardless, though, we do have a very annoying pest to take care of now. Also, don't waste your P-Wings on these guys. Because once you use a P-Wing, it's only effective for that one level that you do, including the Hammer Brother encounters. Yeah, Spike enemies. Yeah, that is the official name. But anyway, as I was trying to say, if you use a P-Wing during a Hammer Brother, Fire Brother, or Boomerang Brother encounter, then you lose that effect for the next level too. So, use them wisely and pray to God that another Hammer Brother doesn't appear on your path. Okay. Also within this game, I believe it also introduced the fire-breathing piranha plants. Fire-breathing piranha plants will come out of the pipe and aim and one of 4 different directions. Each of them are at a 45-degree angle, so it's kind of like this, or the other way around. So you can use this to your advantage by standing as close to them as possible on the pipe that they're in, and then wait for the fire flowers to pass by, and finally just proceed. Thankfully, they're nothing like the red piranha plants in Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Seriously, screw those guys. They suck. Alright, welcome to the next castle. This is a water-themed castle. The entire thing is flooded. So this may not be a bad castle to break out the frog suit in, if you happen to have any. Also, screw logic! You can fire flowers while underwater. Granted, you can do this in the other NES Super Mario Bros. Games, and even in Mario All-Stars 1 too. Really, basically any sort of Mario game whatsoever, you can fire flowers underwater. Just saying, it's a bit weird. Alright, let's light up Boom Boom like a freaking Christmas tree! Man, I love doing that. My favorite thing to do is, in New Super Mario Bros., break out the Mega Mushroom during a Bowser Jr. or Bowser fight, and just use it to crush Bowser and Bowser Jr. respectively. Okay. Of course. More trial and error, am I right? Come on, game. These things are rigged, just like a real casino, am I right? What's down here? Oh, right, this takes you back further into the world. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, time for level 8. Ah, dang it. Video game logic. Yeah, that is pretty funny because it's true. So, this is going to be a very annoying level because we have, once again, have to deal with Big Bass here. And this may be a level where it may not be a bad idea to break out the P-Wing and use it. But I'm going to try to avoid using it. At least for right now. God damn it! It's like I want to mash A and jump out of the water, but I don't want to do like an itty-bitty jump out of the water. I want to keep, crap. I wanted to not do that. Christ! Screw this frickin' fish. Okay. Okay. I guess I could try using another item here. Maybe I'll try the fire flower again. Okay. So in this level, you definitely do not want to go too fast. You want to take your time and try to get through this as fast as possible and reach the highest surfaces. Throughout this level, the level will constantly be sinking. Sinking and rising. So what you have to do to combat this is race through the entire level as fast as humanly possible. And pray to God that you can reach a higher surface before Big Bertha decides to chomp on your ass. Which is a lot easier said than done. Well, that was definitely hairy. Alright. Level done. Thankfully, the levels in this game are relatively short, so that's a good thing. I'm definitely happy about that. Alright, time for level 9. Also, I believe World 2 introduced the Paragoombas that drop little miniature Goomba-like enemies on top of you. If they happen to hit you, then all you have to do in order to, all you have to do is just mash the jump button repeatedly. Also sweet, Fire Flower. Okay, I haven't really talked about these blocks yet. These blocks, unlike all the regular blocks in the game, you can actually grab these blocks and throw them. However, you can only hold on to them for a certain period of time. Afterwards, they'll just disappear. Like, disappear out of existence. Like the blocks were never even there. Ah, damn it. I knew that was going to frickin' happen, too. Should have just waited a little bit longer. Oh well. It's fine. At least we got 3 lives to work with here. At least for right now. Alright. And with that, I think that's all the levels of the world. All we have left is the airship. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and create a save state here. Oh dear, looks like the king this time has been transformed into a spike enemy. Ooh, we have a new follower. It is PlayShao1986. Thank you so much for the follow, man. Hope you enjoy your stay here. And that notification will be popping up momentarily. Like, really, really shortly. At least it should. If it doesn't, my apologies. Regardless, thank you so much for the follow. Highly appreciate it. God damn it. Again with the frickin' Lost A Press. Oh, screw you, game! Yep, there's the notification. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so here we have another very annoying mechanic. These frickin' screws. You have to jump on them repeatedly in order to get them to slide all the way to the right. When they're first introduced here, you don't have to worry about them and you can just ignore them and move about your way. However, in later levels, they will become apparent and you will have to ride them all the way across in order to get across safely. Also, say hello to Wendy Koopa. Oh, Wendy, how are you so freaking annoying? So, Wendy, unlike all the other Koopalings whom we fought up to this point, what she does is she'll throw rings rather than just a regular projectile from the magic wand. The rings will bounce around the room, and there's usually up to 2 rings within the room. So that is something you do have to keep in mind when fighting Wendy. Ah, damn it! Wow, I suck at maintaining power-ups. And I suck at oh my god. Why do I always get frickin' shot and shit? God, that pisses me off. It honestly does. It just pisses me off that I keep getting shot back to back to back. It's like, once I get shot, I'm just going to keep getting shot. Like, there's no recovery. I just suck that frickin' much. Okay. Let's go at this again. Try this again. Slowly yet surely. And not get shot like a fucking dumbass! Come on, hit it. Are you freaking kidding me right now? I cannot maintain a power-up for longer than 5 seconds. I don't know why my nose is starting to run right now. Of all times to do that, too. Okay. I knew it. I knew that frickin' bitch was going to do that, too. Okay, so she can fire more than one single shot. I mean, more than 2 rings at once. She has up to 3 out at once, which is really damn annoying. Honestly, I think one of the best power-ups in the entire game to try to hold on to, other than the P-Wing, is definitely the Super Leaf. The Super Leaf, if you mash the A button repeatedly, you'll be able to slow your descent and be able to make more precise jumps. God damn it, shot again! Fuck this. I did not mean to do that. Ah, Christ. It's like, once I get shot, I'm just going to die immediately after. It's just like in Call of Duty. Once you're shot, you're dead. There is no recovery. You cannot recover. Like, if you manage to make it around one corner and anticipate the shooter to chase you down, you're going to get shot by the enemy's teammate. It happens every time. I swear to God. Same sort of thing happens here in this game. Like, once you're shot by a single cannonball or a bullet bill, you're hit immediately by another. Sometimes it seems like going for power-ups is a bit of a red herring. Okay, did that bullet bill just glitch? I guess that's one of the limitations of the NES. If they reach a certain point in the screen, they start to glitch out of existence. It's a bit weird and kind of complicated, but that's just something I've noticed. Alright, this should go more smoothly this time around. Okay, I say that as I get hit immediately. And lose all my power-ups right then and there. Whatever. At least Wendy is finally defeated. Jesus. That was painful as crap. Oh, man. That was truly something else, let me tell you. Wow, this king looks a lot like Luigi, or it could be Mario and Luigi's father. Who knows? Regardless, they're back to their old selves again. Definitely happy to see that. What do we get this time? The white block contains magic powers that will enable you to defeat your enemies. I have enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. And we get another music box. Not exactly the most useful thing in the world. Alright, welcome to World 4. I almost said 3 because that was the last world we were in. I believe this is called Pipe Maze, aka Pipeland. And as you can expect and see here, we have to navigate the world via pipes. And the pipes here will often take you to different parts of the level, or different parts of the world. Also, this Toad house here on the left always has a certain item. As far as what that item is, it's, I believe, either a Tanuki suit or a frog suit. I'm not 100% sure, but if you happen to have a hammer from the previous world and take it with you here, then you can smash that rock boulder and just grab the item there every time you get a game over. So you can stock up on those forever. Although I think it's just a frog suit every time. Regardless, though, it is something else that you can keep in mind here. Alright, let's head into this world. Okay, I was wrong. Pipe Maze is a future world. this is Giant Land, or Giant World, whatever. Regardless, everything is, gigantic. The enemies are giant, the blocks are giant, everything is giant. Even the clouds are giant in this world. And that is freaking cool as crap. I honestly love this. I love it. Although not every single enemy here is a giant, which is kind of weird if you ask me. Regardless though, Giant Land is a lot of fun to play through. And it's quite a spectacle how these gigantic sprites are even possible on the NES. I'm pretty sure they employed the same sort of technique that was used in Punch-Out! Then again, maybe not. It could have been an entirely different technique altogether. Regardless, though, it is cool to see. God damn it. I had a feeling that was going to happen, too. Alright, what we got over here? Ooh. Aw, man! Well, that was lame. Anyway, this world, or this level in particular, is not too bad. You just have to make sure you don't land in the water at all. Other than that, though, it's not very difficult. Oh, come on! That's bullshit! Usually, if you max out your P meter and hit that ending goal thing, you'll always get a star. But sometimes it doesn't do that, especially if you hit it the wrong way. Or miss it entirely. Okay. Alright, let's head on into this level here. Here we have a new, enemy. I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of like a gigantic hammer brother. How they work is they jump in the air, and upon landing, they'll create a massive shockwave. If you're on the ground when that occurs, then you'll be stunned temporarily for about a second. In which case, that will leave you extremely vulnerable. Okay, seriously? I can't jump on top of those? Okay, well, lesson learned. There's some enemies that you can't jump on top of, which is rather annoying. I want that. It was worth it. Totally worth it. Sucks that I lost all my frickin' power-ups there. Also, that block formation there is kind of annoying. It has a tendency to push you around. Even though it kind of looks like other blocks that you wouldn't think would do that. But, lo and behold, they can do that. And it's really, really annoying. Ooh, hello. Alright, what we got? I think this was flour? No. Okay, that works. Another star, huh? Dang it. Okay. At least we got some additional firepower now, so I'll gladly take it. Onward to the next castle. In this castle, it kind of looks like it's lit by candles. However, the candles are a bit strange. They work kind of strangely. In a sense, they act like boos. Boos were introduced into this game, and how they work is... Okay. Another cloud. Not that I really need one of those right now. That's kind of lame. And I wasted a Starman too, trying to get rid of him. I was kind of hoping he would give me something good. Like maybe a P-Wing. Or some other pretty unique item. Okay, back to what I was saying before. The fire here is kind of weird. Great. Now I don't have enough goddamn space. Okay, do I really need a power-up in order to take a hit? Also, screw you, game. Thankfully, I was able to kill him relatively quickly. Still, though, I hate that crap. Hammer Brother just had to walk on the same space I just respawned at, too. I wonder what would have happened if I lost. Probably a soft lock? Who knows? Then again, probably not. It would probably be merciful and the Hammer Brother would move before I fully respawn. Okay. God damn it! Okay, I'm pretty sure you have to have at least one power-up in order to sacrifice it and get up the frickin' platform. But you also have to be at a running pace to slide and duck underneath of one of the blocks here, which is that one, right up there. However, that's a lot easier said than done. Okay, see what I mean? Oh, screw you, game! Again with the frickin' opposite bullshit. Okay, thankfully Boom Boom was dumb enough to bonk his head. I'm definitely happy about that, that's for sure. Phew, good lord, that was stressful. I knew that was going to happen too. Just pushed the A button far too early. Okay, time for another swim. And of course that mushroom's gone. Okay, not just yet. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that the mushroom managed to stick around for as long as it did. Also, this level, though it does feature a lakitu, it's really not that bad. The spinies that it throws into the water slowly descend upon landing in the water. So it's pretty easy to just simply dodge them and move on your merry way. Though I clearly can't dodge for beans. And apparently it has the aim of a frickin' sniper. They never miss. Or they don't miss their third shot. Okay. Okay, I'll gladly take another fire flower and be on my way. I could probably use that right about now. Ha! Nice. Sweet, another P-Wing! Haven't had one of those in forever. Okay, onward to the next level. Hello there. Of course. You just could not even worry about giving me a frickin' kiss. Every time, I swear to God, every goddamn time I grab a power-up, I lose it immediately. Also, new bullet bill type. The ones that glow like that, home in on your position via the X-axis. I had the feeling that there was going to be a block there. Oh my god. Well, better to have Big Mario than not. Am I right? I could definitely use something to drink right about now. Phew. I think that was too late. Yep. God damn it. So damn close that time. Okay. So, with this level in particular, there is a pretty interesting mechanic. Throughout the level, you'll find these doors here. Go inside one and everything will either turn small or grow gigantic. The first door that you go through, honestly, is probably the best door, due to the fact that it shrinks everything back down to normal. Also, a pretty awesome detail that is present whenever you're Big Mario and you have a Starman active. If you happen to have a Starman active and you're Big Mario, if you jump in the air, you'll do a flip. You'll just spin around until you hit the ground, which is pretty awesome to see. I really love that extra attention to detail, even for the NES. Still awesome to see. Too bad it wasn't present with other iterations of the Super Mario Brothers games, but even so, still awesome to see. Okay. I think this will be fine for this level. Let's go. Second castle. I believe in this world going forward, there's going to be at least 2 castles now. So that is something you do have to keep in mind. Okay, that was a dumb idea. I shouldn't have tried to whack him with my tail. That works. Oh, come on! I didn't even hit him! And yet he still managed to hurt me? That is annoying. Alright, Boom Boom, let's go. Let's get you done and over with nice and quick. There we go. Pathetic as always. Though, granted, he did manage to kill me once before, so I can't really call him pathetic, but even so. Alright, let's play another game. God damn it. Oh well, at least I got another mushroom out of it. And this is definitely a good time as any to create yet another save state. That way we don't have to worry about unfortunate events. So, the king this time has been transformed into a little dinosaur. It's not Yoshi. It's anything but. It's just a regular old everyday dinosaur. Pretty normal occurrence in the Mushroom Kingdom. Am I right? Alright, the World 4 airship. This is definitely going to be a fun one to navigate through. Throughout the airship, we'll find all these fire spouts. They'll be firing out of the cannons that you would normally see. Try not to confuse them between them and bullet bill cannons. They're completely different. Crap. Seriously, screw those frickin' things that you have to jump on over and over again. So annoying. It's like if you mistime your jump, even just for a second, you're screwed. You're gonna fall all the way down. And that's why I did not want to proceed right away. Because I knew there was another fire spout coming up. By the way, the enemies that throw those wrenches and stuff, I'm not too sure what they're called. But, again, they are kind of annoying to deal with. Due to the fact their wrenches can go quite far. It's pretty insane if you think about it, of how far they can throw those things. Okay, let's try this again. Hopefully this time I won't get burned to a goddamn crisp like an idiot. Earlier I was mentioning how the SNES and NES versions of Mario 3 have a slightly different soundtrack. Well, I never really mentioned what version of the soundtrack I preferred. Honestly, I kind of prefer the NES version because it's more nostalgic to me. But that's just me. Though I do like both versions a lot. I appreciate the higher quality of which the SNES version can provide. And I also like how they were able to incorporate so many different tracks in the NES version too, without having to reuse too many of the tracks for many different situations, if you know what I mean. I think for airship levels, it might be better to have the Fire Flower most of the time versus the Super Leaf. Though I think in some instances it's better to have the Super Leaf than it is to have anything else, due to the higher precision that you can achieve with the Super Leaf and the Raccoon Tail and everything. Okay, what the frick was that? That was bullshit. Like I got hit by something off screen. Are you for real right now? Okay. Definitely glad that was there. Okay, that was easy. Honestly, that Koopaling was nowhere near as difficult as frickin' Wendy. That's for sure. I think that one was Ludwig. Maybe, I couldn't really tell. Honestly, it's pretty difficult to tell many of the different Koopalings apart. At least for me. But, hey, I've never really been good with names anyway, so what does it matter? The king this time, after being transformed back, looks like an Arabian prince. And our next item from Peach is this, another P-Wing. Greetings, the thief who stole the whistle has escaped to the east side of the sand dunes. I have enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. Again. Alright, on to World 5. This may look like a relatively short world, but trust me, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Let's head into level 1. Also, this world is unique as opposed to the other ones. God damn it. Like I said, every time I get a power-up, I just can't maintain it for longer than 5 seconds. This world is unique in the sense of if you manage to make it to a certain point in this world, if you get a game over, then you resume from the second half of the world. No other worlds I know of have this unique effect. It's just this one. Oh, and the last one too is the same sort of story. Just saying. Also, we are introduced to some new enemies. Also, screw the frickin' chain chomps. I hate the fact that you can't kill them very easily. Damn it! All because I took a leap of faith. Alright, let's try this again now, and hopefully we won't get frickin' massacred by a frickin' chain chomp. I'm pretty sure down there there's another power-up that you can get, but it is very risky to try to go for that. So honestly, it may not even be worth it. Sometimes it's just honestly a better idea to just gun it for the end. Ignore as many power-ups as you can, and just go for the end goal. That's probably the best thing that you can do, honestly. Though it does help to have some power-ups in hand, that's for sure. Alright, time for this lovely level here. Funny enough, I think in this level in particular, if not, then it's definitely a level we'll be coming across later on. Okay, yeah, it's definitely a future level here. Anyway, there's a certain point where if you happen to, do things in a very specific way, you can, just warp straight to the end credits by doing some very specific things and jumping on some very specific points in the level. And try to go down an invisible pipe. That's only possible in the NES version of Super Mario Bros. 3. I think. Then again, maybe it's possible in SNES too. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm pretty sure it's an NES exclusive glitch. Wow, thanks! Thanks, dude. Thanks for killing my frickin' target. Alright, level done. On to the next one. Right after we grab yet another item from this lovely, lovely house. And we have the Tanuki suit! The Tanuki suit is one of the rarest items you can get in the entire game. So with that suit, you gain the same sort of benefits as the Super Leaf. However, you also have one additional effect that you can employ too. And that is, if you push down and B, you can turn yourself to stone, which is awesome. I was wondering if I had another fire flower or something here, but no, I don't. I'll just use this. Sometimes if you feel really inconfident in your ability to take down Hammer Brothers or any sort of brother variety whatsoever, you can just simply use a Starman and just blast through them very quickly and easily. So that's awesome. Alright, next level. Also, we can actually just go to the castle right now if we want. God damn it. But I want to take this on first. This level's a pretty fun level, too. And hopefully I'll actually survive longer than 5 seconds. This is a fun one because in this level, if you manage to take out the Goomba inside of its shoe, you can ride in the shoe. Though I think you have to take it out in a specific way. Like you have to throw a fire flower at it in order to get the shoe. I'm not 100% sure on that. But regardless, I think if you take it out a certain way, you can ride in the shoe. Of course, I keep getting smacked by the frickin' shoe and really everything else. Come on, this is not that hard. Okay. There we go. That's how it's done. Let's ride in the shoe. So with this shoe, we can use it to kill these frickin' spinies that are walking around on the ground. Not only that, but we can also use it to cross those black frickin' flowers. You cannot kill them in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. Instead, you must simply try to avoid falling into the pit. And funny enough, the shoe acts like a power-up. If you get hit, then you just lose the shoe. Though there is a pretty weird glitch that, okay, maybe not a glitch, but more like an annoying thing that can occur if you're playing the Japanese version of the game. If you happen to have a power-up while you're inside the shoe and then take a hit, then you revert back to Small Mario, which is rather annoying. Excellent. Another 5-up. Exactly what I needed. Especially considering that I have not been doing very well in this game. At least so far. Alright, let's deal with you. And just get completely freaking smacked. Okay, another Starman. Useful, yeah. I'll take it. At least now we won't have to deal with any more Hammer Brothers on this level yet. Not for a little while longer. And of course, I screwed that up. Thank you. Thank you for the Nightmare Fuel game. It's my favorite. Next to the frickin' Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. Just saying. Okay, this castle, I believe it's optional, but it is there for if you want to get back to this point without getting frickin' murdered by nuclear waffles. No, it's there for if you want to access a certain part of the next area without having to go through the entire thing. As far as what that is, I'm not 100% sure up to this point. Also, I'm not really sure what that area is for. Frickin' nuclear waffle. Okay, I'm pretty sure you need the super leaf in order to get up here anyway. There's gotta be some sort of secret up here that I just don't know about. However, accessing that is rather difficult. And of course, I get frickin' murdered by nuclear waffles again! Screw this goddamn frickin' level! Ugh! All because I wanted to try something a little bit different. I hit the wrong goddamn button. Fantastic. Well, I'm definitely going to die again immediately. I bet you if you want to go through that secret area more efficiently, you're going to have to use a P-Wing. I knew that was going to happen too. It was either get crushed by the thwomp or get killed by a frickin' nuclear waffle. There was no in between. And of course, I'm wasting all my goddamn lives now, just because of this stupid crap. Okay. It's like I don't want to use too many items just for this one castle alone. Because I suck so bad I lose my items practically immediately after entering. Hang on. Got a frickin' hair in my mouth. Okay, this is gonna hurt. Okay. Come on, Boom Boom. Let's finish this. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Good Lord above. That took way more lives than it should have. Okay, so destroying that castle will create this bridge. So if we end up getting a game over, we can just immediately hop over here. Without the need of having to go through the entire level all over again. Where was the Starman again? I forgot. Damn it. Now, this level that we're going to be heading into next is a very unique one. How exactly? Well, this, unlike all the other levels in the game, this is a very linear-based level. And though it does play the castle music, this is not any sort of regular castle that we've been to up to this point. And of course I got hit. Every time I grab a power-up, it is the law that I immediately lose it, or lose it within 5 seconds. Every time. Every goddamn time. It's the law. Really? You couldn't put me in a better spawn position? Okay. So anyway, as I was trying to say, this level is unique because this is a tower. And of course, frickin' nuclear waffle. Fuck you. Just because I tried to multitask. Multitasking is not my strong suit. Also, fuck you. Wow. I'm gonna run out of goddamn lives just because I can't get past the first goddamn floor on this frickin' tower. Screw this place. It's like I want to go fast, yet I can't go fast without getting frickin' murdered every 2 seconds. So really, it's a better idea just to take it slow and steady. But there are many instances where you can't really go slow. If you do that, then you're going to die. You're going to run into something without even realizing it was there. Alright. We basically reached the very top of the tower now, so that's pretty nice. Okay, there's still a bit of a ways to go. Never mind. I thought we made it to the top, but I guess not. Not yet. Okay. This should be the top floor now. And by the way, I'm pretty sure you do need to summon that vine in order to get up here, and up we go. Welcome to the second half of this world. Oh boy, feels good to be here. Funny enough, I think the music that plays here is the underwater theme, but slightly slower from Super Mario Brothers, the first one. So, nice throwback here. I like that. Okay, so like I said, I believe if you get a game over from this point going forward, then you'll just respawn at the very start of this whole section. I'm not 100% sure, and I don't plan on finding out anytime soon. But regardless, it is something that's worth pointing out. Hi there, Koopa. Goodbye. I'll gladly take that. Thank you very much. And goodbye. Phew. Good lord. Alright. Next one. Here we go. This is another fun one as I get another kiss from a frickin' Koopa Troopa. Or more or less a Paratroopa. Regardless. It was still a kiss, and I don't like that. What I don't like is getting frickin' murdered immediately and losing my frickin' power-up before I can grab the next upgrade. Also, we have fire chomps now. They fly around in the air and act annoying as crap. They fly around and seek you like the frickin' dogs they are. And they'll shoot fireballs at you. Thankfully, they shoot up to 3, and after their third one, they fall and die. But even so, it's still annoying that they even exist nonetheless. Thankfully, they're fairly easy to dodge, though they're not the easiest things to dodge. By far. That would belong to the Goomba, but hey, I'm just saying. I swear to God, it's like I can't get through this at all without failing on the second spot every time. Okay. Welcome to, what level is this? 5-6? Or, okay. This level. In this level, you ride these, flying buzzy beetles. If you jump on them, they will descend a little bit, but they'll begin ascending. If you stay on them long enough, then you can gain some pretty insane heights. Though, it's not recommended to stay on them for very long. Only for about a few seconds. I can't see! Screw you, game, and the frickin' slippery bullshit! This is definitely a level where it may not be a bad idea to just bust out the P-Wing and just fly over everything. Though granted, it's not something I want to do all the time. But it is an option. Come on down. Also, these fights here, they do have a time limit. So that is something you do have to keep in mind. Thank you, Jesus. I know, I just camped in the corner like a frickin' jerkwad who doesn't know how to play the game, but can you really blame me? Definitely the best power-up to have in this level by far is the frickin' Super Leaf. Because jumping from one of these flying beetles to another is kind of stressful. And I wouldn't mind overriding my current power-up here with it. Honestly, Super Leaf is the best item to have by far in this level. Due to the fact that this is an auto-scroller, and you can slow your descent very, very easily. Okay. I wonder if there's something over here. No, it's just a bunch of blocks. What am I thinking? Thinking that there would be some sort of power-up in one of them. That would have been awesome. Too bad it wasn't the case. Regardless, though, at least this level's done. Alright, let's grab this next chest and be on our merry way. Another fire flower. I'll gladly take it. Alright, time for level 7. Okay, that's a pretty annoying rule. On the NES, if it's not on screen, it does not exist. It's either it's on screen or it didn't happen. It's a very annoying quirk that occurs with many, many NES games. Primarily with bad ones, like those developed or published by LJN. But regardless, it even happens on the good ones too, which is rather unfortunate. Oh dear Lord. I knew that was going to happen too, that frickin' asshole. Sometimes it's best just to make a frickin' run for it. Especially when Lakitu is involved. Seriously, screw those guys. Though they fixed the Hammer Brother issue, they still did not fix the Lakitu issue. Which is really annoying. Man. Okay, good. I was like, which one had the 1-up again? Sweet! Another board completed. And now's a good time as any to use one of these new items that I received. Alright, on to the next castle. Here we go. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. Okay, so this castle is rather unique in the sense of there's lava on the ceiling as well as on the floor. Oh dear lord, that was too close. Oh my god, that was insane. Definitely glad we got through that pretty easily. Alright, let's deal with you. And done. Oh, Boom Boom. Oh, how you try to be menacing. Yet you fail about 99.9% of the time. Alright, let's go through this again. Oh, damn it, I tapped. Oh, that was perfect. Sweet. 3 more lives added to our arsenal. Finally, I managed to win one of those. Jesus. Okay, onward to level 8. This is going to be a fun one. Thankfully, this level is not an auto-scroller, but it does feature our good friend Lakitu. Oh, God damn it. Here I am thinking I can just use my raccoon tail to, whack one of these frickin', spinies. But no. That isn't until, like, future Mario games. Also, screw you. That was bullshit. Screw those damn spinies. Especially in this level where it seems they come at you in a storm. And that was definitely not worth it. Should have just let it go, but no, I had to be Mr. Hero and try to grab everything. Okay. By the way, if you want to know what the fastest version of the game that you can choose to speedrun, believe it or not, it is the original NES on Famicom. It's the Famicom version of the game. Due to the fact that the text scrolls faster, there's less of them that you have to worry about. You just don't have to worry about reading anything. Okay, so time for the level 9 of World 5. This is a very infamous level due to the fact that this is an auto-scroller and there's a ton of platforming that you need to do. So having the Super Leaf is definitely a necessity. Or better yet, if you happen to have a P-Wing, just use it. In fact, why don't I go ahead and showcase what I'm talking about? Seriously, screw this goddamn level. So, what the P-Wing does is it fills your P gauge and you're able to fly forever throughout the entire level. However, like I've mentioned, P-Wings are very hard to come by and you want to hold on to them until you reach levels like these, where you basically want to use them to fly over the entire frickin' thing. Seriously, screw these damn fire chomps. After the, apparently after they fire their third fireball, they will, try to chase you down and kamikaze themselves. Upon doing so, they will, detonate and act like a bomb. And unlike Super Mario Bros. 2, USA, they have a large blast radius. Okay. They have a pretty large blast radius. Same goes with the regular bombs too. Thankfully, it is clearly indicated. And like I mentioned before with the P-Wing, it's only effective for that one level. After you complete the level with it, you just revert back to your Super Leaf form. So that is kind of unfortunate. But hey, at least it's a free Super Leaf. So there's that. Okay, onward to the castle. Looks like the king this time has been transformed into a bird. What kind of bird exactly? I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, it's a bird. It ain't a plane, and it's not Superman. Also, this airship is very infamous. Because depending on which version of the game that you're playing, there's a chance that you can get soft-locked. And what that means is if the airship ends up flying out of bounds, then there would be no way you can get anywhere near the airship at all. You will not be able to engage it and be able to proceed. The only way out at that point forward is to either reset the entire game and start your whole playthrough all over again, or use a warp whistle and just proceed onward to the next world. And just say screw it. God damn it, I shouldn't have jumped. I should have just stayed crouched and everything would have been fine. But no, I had to be dumb. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. Who are we fighting this time? Looks like it's Roy. Oh my god, are you serious with the frickin' bullcrap? Ah, crap. Well, that's annoying. Okay. In, I believe the second revision of this game, if you, make it to this world and an airship, is, leaving your sights, then thankfully the chance of it going out of bounds and unable to access it is really, really low. So, no need to worry about that. And it's also fixed in Super Mario Bros. 3 on the All-Stars, as well as Super Mario Advance 4 Super Mario Bros. 3. So, that is pretty sweet. Okay, Fire Flower. I'll take it. Hopefully I can hold on to it for longer than 3 seconds. I say it, and I die anyway, because screw this goddamn game. Oh, god damn it. I knew that was going to happen too. What a waste. What a frickin' waste of power-ups. Oh, screw this. I know I still have plenty of lives yet, but even so. It's like once I get shot, that's it. I'm just gonna get hit by every other projectile in the entire frickin' airship. Every single one. There is no denying that. Oh dear. Frickin' A press got taken away again. Whew. Lord have mercy! Also, fun fact, you can actually stand on top of these cannon blasters. Or at least most of them. Just not the ones that have, like, the inverted cross formation. Funny enough, there's a lot of anti-Christ imagery scattered throughout the entire freaking game. It's kind of funny. Kind of funny if you think about it. But no, I know that's not the intention of the game at all in any way. But it's worth mentioning anyway because AVGN kind of exaggerated that fact. Crap. Get off of me! Yeah, this is a very annoying boss fight. Due to the fact that when... I think that's Roy Koopa. Whenever he slams down on the frickin' ground... he creates a massive shockwave, and you are essentially screwed. If you're on the ground when he slams down, yeah, your ass is dead. Or you're guaranteed to get hit. Due to the fact that he can shoot you at range and just make you stuck. you're just plain screwed. That simple. Okay. Funny enough, despite those anti-cross cannon formations rotating, only 2 cannonballs fire out at a time. I don't know why that is, but it is something that's worth pointing out anyway. Okay, what the hell? It's like every time I jump and I try to dodge the son of a bitch, he always finds a way to hit me. God, that's annoying. And what's even more annoying is that if you end up dying to a Koopaling, then you have to redo the entire airship all over again. Again! Why did it take away my A press? Then again, maybe I shouldn't have jumped at all. Well, there's definitely no way I'm going to be able to defeat frickin' Roy now. Roy is definitely not my boy. Not in this game. Unless there's some sort of hidden power-up that I don't know about. In which case, I'd welcome it with open arms. Okay. Seriously, screw this goddamn game. Well, crap. I think that flew out of bounds. Okay, no it didn't. It just flew to the lower part of the level. What's also very annoying now is if you end up having to fail the airship and it flies back up to the higher point of the level, then you have to redo the entire tower level all over again. Also, hello, Luca3252. Welcome to the stream as I get shot in the frickin' back again! God, this is annoying. One distraction and it ends up costing me my goddamn life. Jesus flip, kill me. Oh my god, almost got frickin' shot in the back again. Honestly, the worst part of the level is definitely that final bullet hell gauntlet. The rest of it's not too bad. I knew it. It's like if you end up getting cornered at the worst possible moment, then that's it. Your ass is just dead. There's like no way to frickin' dodge Roy Koopa. Due to the fact that this shockwave is annoying as crap to deal with, plus there are several slants on his room. Or in his room, rather. God, that's so frickin' dumb. Oh my god, are you frickin' serious? That is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. No way should I have received damage there. I swear to God, it's like I can't get through this whole gauntlet without getting hit once. It's just not possible. Jesus! There we go! He's finally dead! Oh man, that was... horrendous. Whatever, man. At least the deed is finally done. Definitely need a drink after this. The king this time looks like an old wise man. Alright. Alright, what do we got this time? Be careful in the ice world. The creatures trapped in the ice will come to life if warmed. I have enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. And yet, it's another cloud, which is not very useful in the slightest. Alright, welcome to Iceland. As you can expect, the land is covered in ice. And with ice, there's ice physics. Fun. There's also new piranha plant variety now. Those. Ones that just roam around on the ground and ones that shoot frickin' balls up in the air. Seriously, screw those frickin' enemies. And now my eye is starting to water. Oh my god. Excuse me a second, folks. Probably due to dry eye. That's what's causing that to happen. Okay, this honestly should not be that hard. It is a bit dumb that there's a lot of trial and error involved. Especially when trying to make certain jumps. Oh, god damn it. Okay, when it comes to... Come on, man! Excuse me. Anyway, as I was trying to say, when it comes to this level, the best route is the high route. Alright, what we got this time? Of course. Oh, sweet. Match. And another one. Dang it. Ah, man. Again, I can hardly ever complete those things. Alright, let's deal with this group of assholes here from Assholevania. And we get yet another hammer. Sweet. So, hammers. I believe there is a block in this world that we can break. And it will be helpful on our merry way. When will it come in handy? I'm not 100% sure. But we'll definitely find out later. I thought I was going to slip and die. As I typically do. Especially in games like this. By the way, I've not mentioned this yet, but though you can pick up turtle shells and throw them in this game, it is, it can be kind of risky to do it. No, not the riskiest thing in the world. After a certain amount of time has passed, the Koopa that's inside of the shell will try to poke its head back out again. So, that is something you will have to keep in mind. Oh my god. I thought I was going to die there. Alright. Another level done. Nice and quick. Just the way I like it. Okay. So, there's a rock that we can break right next to a warp pipe here. And I believe that will grant us a shortcut to later on in the world. And we can skip this castle here. I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. Ah, of course. Either I was going to die or get frickin' kissed by the Koopa again. Happens every time, I swear. Damn it! I should have just ran for it. Why didn't I do that? I honestly thought that they were just too wide and I was going to drop and die anyway. Damn it! Again with the robbed A presses. Oh, fart! Again, I was hitting the A button. You heard me press the shit out of it, and yet nothing happened. Screw this frickin' game. And screw those damn mushrooms. It's like they only want to be collected whenever they feel like it. It's like, I don't wanna work. It's just like a goddamn printer. Only works whenever it feels like it. Okay. This is fine. Man. All because my timing was off. Oh well. One extra life is better than none, but even so. Still annoying. Alright. Welcome to this castle. This is a lovely castle. All we have to do is just ride on these platforms here until the very end. I think. Funny enough, the blocks here are not animated in any way. I think they only become animated in the All-Stars version, Super Mario Bros. 3, and also Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3. I'm not 100% sure on that. Then again, maybe I'm thinking of Super Mario World where they become animated. Regardless, it is something worth pointing out. Oh god. This is a lovely room. Especially when I keep getting frickin' smacked by a frickin' nuclear waffle! I swear to God, it's like you can't get through this without any goddamn power-ups. Also, fuck you. That was bullshit. Why did the Podoboo have to appear at that moment in particular? Fuck me! Here I am trying to complete this level as fast as humanly possible, and I get punished for it. Okay, at least I got one of my lives back. Still, I can't believe that I'm screwing up this frickin' badly. And dying like every 2 feet. Yeah, it seems like every power-up here is a red herring. It's not worth going for. It's not worth going for any of the power-ups in this frickin' world here. If you try to go for one, you're just going to die. Plain and simple. Unless it's absolutely safe. Which, most cases, it's not. Okay, let's get past these frickin' nuclear waffles. Be on our merry way. Please! I knew this son of a bitch was gonna do that too. Okay. Done. Jesus, that was annoying as crap. Well, at least that one is finally done. God damn it. Guessed I pushed the A button far too soon. Okay. This one's gonna be a fun level. Not only do we have to deal with ice physics here, but also have to deal with, pretty precise platforming. Phew. Okay. I overshot the frickin' jump. Trying to go back and correct the mistake obviously did not frickin' work. And never does. Okay. This should not be that frickin' hard. But obviously I can't survive. Because the mushrooms are all red herrings. Every single one of them. Every single power-up here, I swear to God, is like a red herring. It's like, we know you want it, but good luck trying to get it. And also good luck trying to hold on to it. I'm kind of surprised that frickin' bar managed to push me up. Give me a little extra height rather than throw me in the opposite direction. I'll gladly take it. Okay. Damn it. Cool. Damn it. Whatever. I can never really memorize those, card formations anyway. Alright. Let's do this level. Okay, this is gonna be a fun one. This level is probably the most cryptic level in the entire game. Oh my god, are you serious? I can't hold on to a frickin' power-up for more than 2 seconds! Okay, so this level is a very infamous level. Because you have to get the frickin' Super Leaf power-up. You have to in order to be able to complete the level. And you also have to hold on to it until you reach a certain point and interact with a certain enemy. So, what am I talking about? Well, crap, I'm going to frickin'... Okay. Ah, damn it! Ah! Frickin' hell. I'm going to die. All because the frickin' Koopa had to pop out. Great. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to complete this level at all. Due to the fact that you have to carry a Koopa shell while flying and fly up a certain alcove. Okay, never mind. Thankfully, it doesn't soft lock you. That would be a really big dick move. Okay. Let's try this again now. Hopefully without getting frickin' murdered. Or doing that. Okay, I think if I walk far enough off screen, the Koopa should respawn. Yeah, there we go. Damn it! Damn it, I don't have enough freaking room! Okay, this is a very annoying one. Oh, thank God. At least it's over. There is no other way to complete this level as far as I'm aware. Unless you glitch your way through the wall at the very beginning and just say screw the entire level. But that's a lot easier said than done. What a roundabout way to complete a level. Thankfully... Oh, hello! Hammer Brothers suit! So, how that works is you throw hammers instead of fire flowers. Which is sweet. God damn it. Of course I lost all my frickin' power-ups just from that one hammer brother, and I get nothing in return. Okay. Okay, what the fuck was that shit? Okay. Hammer Brothers plus ice physics equals death. Oh, great. Now I'm gonna get game over. Unless I do something like this. Ugh. Damn it. That was horrible. Especially considering the situation I'm in now. Alright. Please, let me win this. Fuck you. Honestly, it's probably a better idea just to mash and pray. Alright, let's do this level here. Well, at least the good news is, upon... Damn it. Upon respawn, I'll get another shot at the damn slot machine. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Yeah, mashing the A button was definitely the best thing to do. Also, hello, VTSTHT? Okay, what is up with that combination of letters? Regardless, hello and welcome. Welcome to the stream. As you can see, we're playing through Super Mario Bros. 3. We're quite a ways into this game, and depending on how things go, I might be able to finish the entire thing today. We'll see. But considering that things have not exactly been going my way, it's gonna be a lot easier said than done. God damn it, I knew it. I frickin' knew that fish was going to goddamn kill me, and then his friend was immediately gonna kill me after. Seriously, why do you not have as many iframes as you should? I feel like it should last a hell of a lot longer than what it actually does last for. Also, in this level, it's pretty annoying. Ah, fuck me. Again with the frickin' fish. They have the power of invisibility, apparently. Upon jumping from one little pond of water to another, they immediately go invisible. And they only become visible again after they jump out. Of course. Only me. Seriously, screw these frickin' cheaps that just swim across the water. Like nobody's goddamn business! Fuck me! Again. Okay. Maybe it's a better idea to just go at this with a power-up. And just pray to God I can get through quickly. Also, jumping in the water is basically a death sentence. There's no other way I can put it, other than literally being a death sentence. Unless you're going through this water here, in which case you're fine. Also, speaking of which, we're technically in a ice world. Why is it that Mario is not freezing to death? Like, granted, I know that people can't freeze to death immediately upon entering icy water. That happens over time, and it can happen within a matter of minutes. That is known as hypothermia. But even so, how is it that that's not happening here? I knew it. I knew that was going to goddamn happen. I 100 and goddamn 10% knew. It's like you literally cannot get through that without a power-up. There's no way. No way. However, maintaining a frickin' mushroom transformation is really damn difficult here. Especially with the very tight jumps and the annoying fish. Plus the spike death traps. Freaking annoying as sin. Yeah. There's no way I'm gonna get through this now. No way. And I know that there is another mushroom I can grab here, but it just goes so damn fast, and most of the time it goes in the opposite direction to a point where I can't even reach it. Okay. At least that wasn't so bad this time around. Every fucking time! I should have waited! But no! No, I had to be freaking dumb! And now I'm going to die. Oh my god. Oh. That was horrendous. Well, thank God that's over. Okay. On to level 7. This one's gonna be a fun one, that much I can guarantee. Because once again, we have yet another auto-scroller of doom. And you know what that means with auto-scrollers. Annoying obstacles and all kinds of stupid bullcrap. Like these flame chomps that refuse to let you leave. I just fell through a goddamn freaking donut. Are you serious, bro? Seriously, screw this game and its weird-ass hit detection. That's an annoying little quirk. It's like if you stand on one platform for too long... Oh my god. Again, with the off-screen bullcrap that is the frickin' flame chomp. Killing him is not an option. You just gotta avoid him. If you try to kill him, you just will get yourself killed as a result. It's a guaranteed death. Okay. I swear, having the super leaf here for this level is a damn near essential item to have. Especially considering the kind of platforming that you have to do here. God damn it. Of course I got blown up again. And I knew that son of a bitch was going to go in the opposite direction too. Okay, thankfully it seems as though if the flame chomp is defeated, it'll never respawn. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. I really should shut the hell up. I say one thing and then it immediately happens. Every frickin' time. Okay. Let's not be retarded again. Okay. One more time. And let's hopefully not be stupid this time. That would be great. Seriously, screw these goddamn auto-scrollers, especially when a frickin' flame chomp is involved. Plus ice physics. Thankfully, it's just this one world that we have to deal with ice physics, as far as I'm aware. Regardless, though, it is something worth mentioning. Okay. So in this level, you definitely want to take your time and just go through this at a slow and steady pace. That was sweet. It's nice to see that fire flowers can It's nice to see that fire flowers can kill flame chomps. I don't even. Also, with the fire flower, you can melt thin layers of ice. This can be useful when trying to get rid of certain blocks. Especially ones that contain coins. However, in like a future level, I believe it's going to be coming up relatively shortly, if you happen to use the fire flower at the wrong time against the wrong block, it'll make things harder for you. So, that is something you need to keep in mind. Alright, on to the next castle. Great. More ice physics plus booze. That makes things even better. Okay. Thankfully, it seems as though this castle is easier than the last one for sure. Though it still has its annoying quirks such as the nuclear waffle bullcrap. Plus ice physics, and thwomps definitely don't make things easier at all. Hello there, Boom Boom. Let's go. It's time for you to die. I say as I get a fist shoved up my ass. God damn it. Here we go again. Okay. This is not that hard of a castle. It really isn't. Just gotta go at this at a decent pace, and we'll be fine. Let's not get freaking hit by nuclear waffles, and just platform like a freaking normal person. I say as I can't platform at all. Thankfully, for whatever reason, it seems as though whenever you encounter Boom Boom in this room, the cinematic forces you to a dead stop, despite you being on ice. So, that's pretty awesome. Here we go. Another bridge has been created, so if we end up getting a game over, we can just take this pipe here and just go back the way we came. And only have to complete like a couple of levels before we have to reach that pipe in the first place. So that's pretty nice, but even so. I still want to have a full completion save file though. Or, okay, it's not really a save file because there's no way to save progress in this game. Funny enough, this is a pretty long game. Of course, it's not like RPG levels of long, but it's still a decent length. I'm surprised that didn't hurt me. Oh, damn it! That'll work. Slide backwards. It's the best medicine. Not really. Ooh, another card game. Let's play. Okay. I think the one-up was here? No. That's a Starman. Damn it. Well, that was wasted. Especially now, since I really need lives here. And getting lives is really damn difficult. Okay, let's see what we got in here. Looks like an underwater ice cavern. Okay. God damn it. Great, now we got frickin' Big Bertha here too. Okay. It seems like for the most part there are two different paths you can take. One of them is underwater, and the other one is above ground, where you'll more than likely find these flowers just hanging around and about. Okay. There must have been some sort of secret pipe that I missed. Okay. Why can't I go through there? That is bullcrap. Absolute bullcrap. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely something I missed in there. That's for sure. It must be somewhere in this above path here. Okay. Okay. Really, game? Are you serious? Let me through! Wow, fuck you, game! Like I was not allowed to go through there without losing all of my goddamn power-ups? Seriously? That is bullshit. That's also bullshit. And why is it so damn difficult to jump out of the frickin' water? Okay. There we go. Jesus. Should have known that was, the exit. Oh well, it just goes to show I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to this game. I do have some knowledge, but apparently it's just simply not enough. I'm definitely making a save state here. Let's proceed onward to level 10. Yay, more ice physics. Boo. Boo, bullshit. Okay. Are you serious? Okay. So, remember what I was talking about earlier about certain ice blocks containing things that will impede your progress? Well, this is one of those instances where that is indeed the case. So be careful when using the Fire Flower power-up here. Sometimes it's better to not use the power-up at all and just proceed anyway. The risk is definitely not worth it. There we go. Jesus. That was painful. Alright, on we go. I was gonna say, after I get frickin' murdered by more nuclear waffles. Also, we have these frickin' Boo platforms. Apparently, Boos just love to hide within the underside as well as the top portions of those platforms. Also, in this level, we have platforms that act like conveyor belts. The devil? Oh, you got me kidding. Okay. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. I win. Here we go. Another castle destroyed. Phew. Good lord. And thus, we finally made it to the damn castle. And the next airship. Let's head on that. Ooh, the king this time is a seal. Aw, how cute. Why doesn't he stay that way? That'd be awesome. Of course not, though. We do have to, take care of this, unfortunate transformation. If we don't, then unfortunately the world will remain as, bleak and lacking of peace as it was before. Okay. This is also the first level where, or the first airship rather, where you have to bounce on these goddamn screws! This is definitely one of those levels where it's basically well more than worth it to just use a damn super leaf, P-Wing, to just fly over everything and say screw those damn platforms. Screw the platforming. Because again, if you press it too soon or too late, then you're falling straight through. And the timing was never addressed in any version of the game, so you just basically have to mash A and hope for the goddamn best. Ah, fuck this. Wow. All the way back there. Are you serious? Wow. All the way back to the very beginning of the world, huh? Oops, that was the wrong button. Alright, we're busting this out. Seriously, screw this damn airship. And screw these frickin' screwed platforms. The timing on them is incredibly strict. Way more than it needs to be. Okay, so if you have a P-Wing, use it on this damn airship. It is well worth it. Trust me. Though you are going to be annoyed due to the fact that the P-Wing signal is constantly going to be going off. It's not like that really matters all that much. And for the most part, you can just fly over the entire airship, no problem. I have no idea where I am. And honestly, I don't care. I'll come down soon enough. Okay, let's do this. God damn it. Did that guy take 4 hits to defeat this time? Or was that just me? Regardless, at least he's defeated. And we don't have to worry about wasting another damn P-Wing. Okay. Here we go. Level done. Oh, thank heavens, I'm back to my old self again. Thank you so much. Here's a letter from the princess. I don't even know what this guy looks like this time. He kind of looks like Einstein, but who knows. Greetings, I am well. Please retrieve the magic whistle hidden in the darkness at the end of the third world. I have enclosed a jewel that helps protect you. And we get our P-Wing back, which is awesome. Alright, World 7. At this point, there's only this world and World 8 left to go, but I think I'm going to go ahead and end this session here because of the fact that we're over the 3-hour mark, and it is getting kind of late. And besides, this world and the next one are going to take quite a while too, so it'll definitely be worth it. So, with that, I'm done here for today. This is General Snivy with the Super Mario Bros. 3 playthrough. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you were able to attend the live stream live, thank you for attending. Next time, we're going to be heading into World 7, known as Pipe Maze. This is actually called Pipe Maze. And also finish up this whole game. So once again, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. See you all next time.